Hi, I'm Clinton.
And I'm Nikki, and we're here to share a glimpse of seasoned love.
The real, the rugged, and the romance. Once upon a time, this cute little couple right here were just about to be married for 25 years.
Yes, last summer.
We had this little trip planned that we were going to do. And right before that trip happened, Nikki decided that she would sprain her ankle really bad.
I decided to do that. I was on crutches for 7 weeks.
Yeah, it was one of those so bad sprains that it would have been better if it was broken. She'd have healed faster.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we had to kind of regroup a little bit because our trip involved hiking and exploring and whatever, which we really enjoyed doing.
Yes.
However, that doesn't work so good with a rolled ankle. So we decided we needed to come up with a new solution.
Yes.
And we really didn't know what we were going to do, but God's so good.
He is.
I was looking on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And I found a friend of mine named Steve. Steve, shout out to you, my friend. And Steve had a tandem wooden kayak for sale.
Yeah.
And I have always wanted to build my own kayak, and I still do. Like, that's not off the menu yet, right? But this one was already made and ready to roll, and we thought, hey, if you could get into the kayak and get out of the kayak, then there's no ankle problems while we're in the kayak business, right? So we went and saw Steve and picked up this wooden kayak. Kind of a saving grace, really, for our trip.
Yeah.
So we come back from that trip, and we start paddling more and more. Then we decided, this kayak, as great as it is, it's in kind of rough shape cosmetically.
We needed some TLC.
Yeah, it did. So we started in on it, and we knew we were gonna, do a new look to the top and a new paint job and so forth.
Yeah.
Started in on sanding out the whole top and getting it prepped.
Yes. There was a lot of prep involved. We had to take off all the hardware.
Right. The kayak is a Chesapeake Lightcraft. They have plans and designs for people to build their own kayaks, and then they sell the materials and that kind of stuff to do it with. So somebody built the kayak, and Steve had bought it off of that guy.
Yeah.
When the guy had built it, this guy had fiberglassed the inside and hadn't done a really great job of smoothing things out. So when we decided to redo it, we decided we're going to
fix the imperfections.
All of it. The best we could, anyhow.
Yeah. One of the other things we decided to do was actually make the hatch openings for the storage in the front and the back of the boat a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So Clinton cut out larger openings that were a little different shape, kind of fun.
Yeah.
If we ever want to go camping and take the kayak, we can put our supplies and our gear and food and everything in there.
And when we made the new hatch openings, we had to make new hatch covers.
Right.
You can look it up. I did something called bent lamination. We had to kind of clamp the pieces of wood over top of the kayak because the kayak's got a curvature to the top of it, and so we had to clamp those things. So we just used like ratchet straps to tie it down.
Can't use traditional clamps because nothing was flat and straight.
Right. I came across some veneer that I'd had from years ago, and we just decided, man, this would look so good if we did a herringbone design on the top with this dark wood.
I really wanted the herringbone.
Yeah.
And double. So it's the V and then it goes the other way.
Yeah.
So, it looked kind of like
That's like I was going to say a cheerleader.
I was never a cheerleader. Well, actually...
That's not true.
I was a cheerleader for one
day. Right? Yeah.
That's a story for another episode.
I'm dating a cheerleader.
No.
Sort of.
So after we cut out the veneer pieces for our herringbone pattern...
Which, by the way, we used a paper cutter.
Paper cutter.
Like
we did.
Yeah. Worked great.
We used blue painter's tape on the lines where we're going to actually cut so it didn't split and splinter and
Right.
things like that. And it worked perfectly.
It did.
So we cut out, how many do you think?
A lot.
300? I don't know.
A whole bunch, right?
250, 300 pieces
Yeah.
so that we could actually cover the entire top of the boat.
Right.
So it took a lot of time and effort to actually lay out those veneer pieces.
Because there's not a straight line.
Right.
So you had to
Everything
kind of...
is curved. And the front of the boat's thin and then it comes out and goes back in. So
So we had to get a center line, right? But then the problem with the center line is that from the back of the boat to the front of the boat, it curves up in the middle. So it's
Right.
not like you can just lay a straight at. It just was, it was exciting to get it all put together. We finally get all the lines drawn on there, right? And then now it's a matter of making the herringbone pattern lay out on the lines right. Thankfully, we didn't glue them down right away. We just kind of like taped them up there.
Yes, for a little
Because I think we did that 6 times to kind of
Make sure.
adjust the pattern a little bit
Right.
to make it right.
It took a lot of brain power.
Yeah.
And Clinton did a great job at that.
She was a great manager for
I
that.
handed him stuff so well.
She was wonderful.
So once we got the top of the kayak done, then we papered over it and
Right.
taped it off, flipped that bad boy. Clinton used his spray gun for our wood shop and just sprayed the bottom of the primer coat for the
Right.
kayak. So once the bottom was repaired and primed and everything,
Right.
we brought it back to the front porch, we flipped it over, and it was time to actually fiberglass.
Yes.
And we got a long roll of fiberglass material, cut that out, got the cockpits cut out, everything like that. And then it was time for the wonderful adventure of epoxy resin to go over that fiberglass.
Right.
That was a
lot.
a lot of work,
That's
a
what
lot of
that is.
redoing, a lot of trial and error, a lot of
Okay, so caveat here. We've never done fiberglass before.
you painstakingly took all this time to get the herringbone pattern
Right.
right, and you don't want to mess
You're not
it up.
allowed to screw up.
You can't sand through things and whatever. It's
Right.
just, it was very intense on
Yeah.
the... We don't have a lot of pictures and videos for that.
Because there might be a little bit of angry faces.
You-
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there was swearing.
No.
But I'm not saying there wasn't.
In our hearts.
For sure. it was rough. It was rough, right?
It was a difficult experience.
Yeah.
But we persevered.
We did, yeah.
So then we flipped the boat again, taped off so that we wouldn't get any paint drips on the top of the boat,
Right.
and did several layers of paint on the bottom and on the cockpit.
Right.
What's that called?
The hull?
Is it? The hull.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gotten so mixed up with hatch, hull, cockpit. What is, like, there's a bunch of holes. I don't know what's what. Then we began to put in the details.
Right.
After everything was painted and cured.
Put the... What are those things called?
Latches.
Latches? We're going to say latches.
The hatch latches.
Yes.
The hatch latches. The hatch latches back in. On.
Right. And let me just tell you what's next. We're putting this thing back together, and we lost the rudder. We had it over at the shop when we took things apart. We had it in this big box of stuff and parts for the kayak. You know how you are desperate to find something and you start looking places that it has no reason to be?
Yeah.
I'm looking in cabinets in the laundry room. There's no way it's in there, but I've run out of places to look, so
Yeah.
I'm just like looking around.
So we finally gave up looking.
Yep.
Realized it had to have just gotten thrown out with other shop
Something,
trash or
right.
something like that. Ordered a new rudder.
Yeah. Anyhow, got it taken care of. Then it was time for the seats. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, thrilling.
Okay.
Test and measure. That's what we do in our business.
Yep. How is it?
Feels comfy, cozy.
Oh, good.
Got my pedals in the right spots. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, he's in.
I'm in.
We're on dry land, but
We are on dry land, yes.
new seats are going to be much more comfortable.
I just have to figure out how to secure the seat in here, and then we're good to go.
All right. Adjusting for what?
A rudder. Let's just say this. Rudders on tandem kayaks save marriages.
Let's talk about that. What is so important about having a rudder anyway?
Yeah, it's interesting because lots of people feel like a rudder is really made for steering. And in actuality, for a kayak, rudders are made for tracking.
Yes.
Right? It's if you have a really big wind that's blowing, it's to keep you from kind of moving at angles and constantly fighting against it, right?
Yeah.
In marriage, if you don't have a rudder that helps you track, then you constantly
Pulling in different directions.
Yeah,
and
going every different.
fighting against each other.
Right, right. Our rudder is the Word of God.
Yes.
It's constant. It's the same.
Yes.
It keeps us true. And so because we have that rudder, we know that we can face whatever winds or storms or whatever comes our way.
We would encourage you today, do you have a rudder in your marriage? Is there something that's keeping you on track? Someone that's keeping you on track maybe? If not, the Bible is a great place to start. So here, the actual rudder.
So we're about to go on our maiden voyage with old Flo here.
Glacier Flo.
Yes, ma'am.
All
So
right.
we're putting her in the water and seeing where we go.
Hey, here we go.
Old Flo out on the water here.
Yes.
You like it, babe?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's been like 5 months
I know.
since we paddled.
Way too long.
Now we're back in a little cove area where we like to come to see wildlife and get away from the bigger boy boats. Bring a little picnic with us and enjoy the quiet. I better get back to paddling. Over here you can see a blue heron in the distance. He just caught him a fish for lunch. Good for you, buddy. have a GoPro that Clinton has mounted on a wood clamp, actually. That's a tall one. And so we clamped it to the boat, and the camera is up high. Looking to see if we got any footage or if we need to do that again. Verdict is...
Looks like we got some good footage.
Yay! You're welcome.
I hope you really have enjoyed this little montage of more pictures than video.
That's because we didn't know we were going to have a YouTube channel when we started this.
True story, right? But we just want to say that sometimes projects like this, when you do them together with your spouse, just means so much. It's like it's a sentimental thing is what it becomes. It becomes not just memories of taking it out somewhere, but actually memories of making it together.
Doing that together. Stay tuned next time for a surprise episode.
Super big surprise.
Because we
don't
don't even know what it's going to be
No,
yet.
not even a little bit.